Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to the Ultima project here, where you can see this is 100% where we left off last time. Well, actually, yeah, last time we just we did the wireframe, we made the body, and real quick since the past session, I went and kind of tweaked some of the forms a little bit in there, and I just did a real quick mock-up on the dress, just so we can kind of get an idea that if it would work out, because again, the dress has a width to it. I want to make sure when we added this onto the body I had in there, it all kind of worked out in the end, and it did. So that's good. Moving on from here. That said, now that part kind of ready to go, it hasn't quite been hardened. Now that's ready to go, it's time to jump on to the next step, which is going to be making the face. So this is not my normal way I proceed through things. If you ever watched some of the other projects, I tend to do the face kind of towards the end, but in this particular situation, I'm going to have the body, get the head up here, get the helmet, get the hat, get all that type of stuff going, and then we're going to work on that dress after the fact. So first thing I have, so I went real quick and kind of did rough numbers. So our width is approximately this. It's approximately 1/2 inch wide. So let's go and chop that off. We're going to go ahead and chop this off. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a lot of jump cuts on this one, or if this is all going to be done on camera and just kind of go as I did, like the first episode here. So I'm just going to talk as if this is going to be done on camera, and we're going to take it from there. So that's at 1/2 inch wide. We end up being approximately 3/4 of an inch tall. I figured I might as well at least get some basic numbers done off camera, and that's about as far as I've done off camera in prep for this. Because I didn't anticipate the previous session kind of going out, well, pretty well in its entirety, but I found it was going to be really hard to jump cut through. Jump cuts really work if you have a lot of individual kind of elements going on. It doesn't work as well when you're kind of just doing one general, just clay work, or just like clay or basing out or whatnot. So if we want this, we do want the eyes to be kind of right in the middle. Yes, we do. And I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of a grid there to go off of. I realize that my shadows are not helping things so much. Now, she has a very kind of, when you have a childlike character, it's a very kind of round looking face. As you get older, it becomes a lot more angular. This one is a much more angular, a much more kind of mature character look to it. So we're going to just bring that down. We have a very shield-looking kind of, if we bring that up top here, we have a very kind of shieldy-looking character going on. Let's bring this down. All right, we're going to have my old nemesis of trying to keep things on camera again. This will be fun. So my hope for this one is to have the face and helmet generally, there's kind of face, head, and helmet kind of generally in there. But if things are going really, really quick, as is, without doing any kind of cutting, then I'm just going to let it ride. And we're just going to kind of go from there. And I can save the cuts for other types of things. But right now we're going pretty dang fast, and at the pace we're going, it still likes to show a process being done and not just a product in the end. Part of this is still wanting to show process as we go. So if I can do that, that would be good. So let's do a little bit of kind of the eye sockets there. I want to add a little bit of a brow. Again, male character is going to generally have a larger brow than a female character. So we're not going to be adding too much off or on the top of this. But I do want to add at least a little something. And that said, most of the side of the head and all that's not going to matter at all in this one, because this helmet covers everything. So I'm okay with that. So it's really just this front view and not a whole lot more past that, which kind of makes some things just a little bit easier in a way. That said, I am, even though the last project I did was the mid project where I was dealing with the 5-inch character, I am still generally used to doing larger characters. And this being another kind of 5.5 inch, whatever tall character. Yes, she's going to be 7 inches in the end, but that includes that helmet. And as you can see in the image there, that helmet goes up a little ways. So being this is another kind of 5-inch character, it is still very much on the smaller side. So for details like this, I am crossing my fingers that it's going to work out in the end. Because I feel like I can't give a super big guarantee that this is going to feel right as it goes. But we're going to try. And I'd say, what type of shape are we going? We want the eye socket area to kind of go up a little bit. That's probably just a little too high, but it is getting the idea in there, which is good. Now, the eyes are generally closed. It's either closed or like very much looking down, because again, she's on this giant platform looking down at the party that we have going in to confront her. So I do want to fill this in, so I don't need to even worry about having eyeballs really in there. It's just kind of getting a kind of closed looking eye shape going. So with that, already is kind of giving a little bit of an eyelid kind of looking down on what's going on. Paint will be doing, I think paint's going to be doing quite a bit towards making that look right. Or not paint, because there's no whites of the eyes to show. And what do we have for mouth? We need almost just a little bit of you can almost see what I'm trying to roll out here. Lip is like twice the size it needs to be. Or the bottom lip anyway. So we need almost a non-existent piece to kind of get down there. And then I can kind of cut that to size with really anything, because it's so tiny. Okay, if you can barely see what I'm doing, that's fine, because I can barely see what I'm doing too. So we're all good on that front. And then we need a little bit of a chin that kind of goes underneath. Let's not hit the body. Don't need to mess that up at this point, because it hasn't been hardened, so it can still very much be messed up at this point. Okay, right now I have a little bit of like an ooh looking face. That's not 100% correct. Unlike most, there's definitely no smile going on this one. It's a much more kind of somber, serious kind of look that I should be going for. They do want a little bit of a angle that mouth down just that little bit. We're kind of getting into lighting at this size is That's a little much. That's a little much. Again, I'm going to do as much as I can kind of on camera and usually off camera. I'm going to go and touch things up a little bit so then we can actually move on to the next step. Yeah, I want her to look mature. I don't want her to look like a grandma or something in here. And it's sometimes at this scale, it becomes a very fine line on getting that right. So. I think we're working our way towards the right direction on this. Eyes are a little large. I think I need just a little bit. I need to bring the brow down just a little bit here. And again, I could just skip ahead on this stuff on the video-wise whenever I kind of feel like, so. All right, that's feeling kind of okay. We're looking a little old. We're definitely still looking a little on the older side. I gotta smooth out some of these things. Ooh. Okay, that's looking a little better. It looks good. My face here is sitting like 6 inches or so away from the model, but as soon as I bring it up to the camera, all of a sudden it's like, oh, nope. I need to get myself a little bit closer to get this thing right. So. All right, we're going to start with this. I think I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of kind of cleaning up on this. And then when I come back, I'm going to go harden this off camera, come back, and we're going to start the helmet. So until then, hang tight. All right, and we're back. Now, I've done a little kind of smoothing out, made it look a little better, but there's still a little more smoothing to do before you harden. So the method I use is I have an old block here that I'm just kind of using to place stuff on. Put a little dowel on here so we can kind of keep it off the ground a little bit so the hot air can get around everything. And I'm just going to use a little bit of my friend mineral spirits here. Sorry, up close. And we just kind of really lightly dabble this thing on just to kind of smooth out any fingerprints or whatnot that may have found their way onto this. It's not going to take out all the small detail things, but it will take out things like the fingerprints and whatnot. And that's really all we need. It's a tiny piece. This is probably the smallest piece I've ever had to harden on its own. And then from there, we have the good old set it and forget it Showtime rotisserie. And I've been using this for all of my hardenings. And we just kind of stick this in. I usually have it facing one way for about 4 minutes or so, turn it around, have the other side face it for like another 2, and this will be done. So I'll meet you back when it's done, and we'll take it from there. All right, and we're back. Face has been hardened. We're all good. It's been sitting here. It's done its thing. So now let's go and start working ourselves on this hat/helmet, which if I come up here, let's go and slide you down just a little bit. We can see that's going to add quite a bit of volume to this form that we have going on right now. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure the mic is turned on this time, because I've had that issue in the past. We're going to add a little bit of clay to the back side of this. So let's put a little bit of glue on there and just go and slam some of this guy down here. Let's put the glue back. Shouldn't need that anymore. And thankfully don't need to worry about ears on this one. They're covered. Don't need to worry about really the size of the head. Nothing, a lot of stuff on here is actually just kind of taken care of for us on this particular build, just because, well, this kind of miter looking hat here is, or helmet, or whatever word I'm supposed to use to describe it, it's pretty huge. It's a pretty big thing. So let's go and just start kind of piling stuff. You know what, I will add some glue to the top of this. It's worth adding glue to the top. Now, I'm still not sure if I'm really going to be doing a lot of jump cuts on this, so it's going to be finished for this video or not, but we're going to go and just kind of start detailing out, because right now, again, things are going a lot faster than I figured they would. Okay, so we're not looking particularly great as is. If I stick it on here, at least we are getting towards, it's right now, it just looks like a big kind of lump of stuff. This will start looking better, hopefully soon. Although with the rough part of this done, I may just go and finish off the detailing on the helmet here in the next section, and then the section after that I can go and start kind of working on the dress, because we don't need to worry about legs on this, so that's a plus. All right, so if we have that, in general, it's going to wind up being kind of a line comes down, kind of a line comes down, this goes up the middle. We have something like that. This gets tamped down. Kind of in. Boop, 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 boop. And I've gone silent again. You just get kind of a... I'm just trying to see, because then we come from there, you get a couple lines come across. I did have a view on the back where they kind of, where this kind of came down and then went up. So that double kind of came back. This is not a finished, I'm just giving myself an idea of what I'm doing. This is not the finished thing in any way, shape, or form. Looks like that would come in. That comes in. That comes across. These are going to come out further. Be a little more angular. This is a very kind of angular character. And then from that, let's pop a couple horns or something on here. It is interesting having kind of a demon-ish detail such as this going on, but let's just see how we do with this. Again, I'm just kind of taking some time and seeing. Okay, we did make you two. We made you very blobby. Probably because we're too thick in that dimension. knife. All right, there we go. A little better still. Still not good, but at least we're better. Probably because this cut way easier than I thought it was going to. For some reason, I thought it was going to get a little more resistance on the knife than I actually wound up getting. Have something like that near close-ish. Yeah, I'm essentially just kind of ending off this video pretty soon, but I want to have at least get this part on here so we can get an idea of what this all looks like in the end. Okay, so I have one of those. I got to make a second one. Let's move you over. This has much less volume to it than the first one does. So that's, if we're going to do it, might as well get kind of the volume side of things a little more in balance. And one way we can do that is take volume off of the first one, because it was just massive. I think for this purpose, that's going to be close enough to just get a rough idea of what we kind of have going on now. There are little wings that you can see that come off, well, there are kind of wings that come off on the side as well, but this does not need to be as high as it is. I can cut that off. We don't need that sticking all that much up. And as you can see, if we take that, bring you back, we are, after 2 sessions here, we are kind of looking like something. Whoop. Now again, the hat is just kind of mocked up real quick. This dress part is just kind of mocked up real quick, but we are getting somewhere. I have 0 chin on her, which is not helping. I need to push it forward so the head's not kind of in the right place over there. But there we go. Next time we're going to actually start making this look more presentable. Like that. This is just a rough go at things. Next time we will be much more presentable and it will look better. So until then, until that next time comes, enjoy.